How could KDE improve? This is actually a great time to ask about it because we are currently selecting new KDE goals which will stay with us for years.
Okay, so KDE just released its new version 5.25 and I have to say it was phenomenal. But as many of you guys might know, every piece of diamond has some dust on its surface. Okay, so I just made that up. Which is why I reached out to Niccolo, who actually knows way more than me when it comes to KDE, to give you guys a top 10 list of suggestions / opinions / corrections which KDE could change in the future. Keep in mind that all of these points are completely personal to ourselves. Let's just get right in.
Number one, I think that KDE should start hiring developers. Now, KDE, I don't know if you know, but already hires some people to do work such as promotion and also working on the apps. Currently, we are in the phase of hiring this kind of people. But as far as development of the core KDE features, not quite. All of the developers are either volunteers, like me, I only get paid through my channel, or are paid by other companies to work on KDE Plasma. And as much as it is nice to be able to say that all developers are either volunteers or paid by other companies, I think that KDE should grow, should start to earn more from donations, should rebuild its donation system and start actually hiring developers. I think it's an important step to take.
Which actually leads me to my next point. KDE should be more corporate-like. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want KDE to be the next Microsoft or something like that, but think about it. Let's take YouTube for example. Every major channel other than exceptions like PewDiePie are a corporation. Even MrBeast for example is an individual but technically is a group of people who actually produce a video together. Having a more corporate approach to a specific product just makes the product more organized. This is of course my personal opinion, so you can just feel free to disagree if you want. In short, I just want KDE to have a corporate strategy along with having a community drive which just helps the community and the software.
The second point, I think, is that there should be a QA team. Now, how it usually goes is that whenever a new Plasma release is coming near, there is a period of time where you can actually not make any big change. So only bug fixes and such. So you have the beta, and in theory, we ask people to test the beta to make sure that it's as bug-free as possible. However, this doesn't work as well as, in my opinion, it could. And I think that a dedicated team to QA and how to improve QA might be a good idea. Only if it was just, I don't know, making sure that the tests actually work and are checked, or when there is a merge request, making sure that at least one person from the QR team actually checks that there are no bugs with it. I think that might be a significant improvement. Now, these last two points actually are from Professionalize KDE goal, which was proposed by Nate Graham. I don't know why I said that. And I think that goal is very interesting, and I think that you should check it out. And I'm inserting these two things in this video because I fully agree with them.
Moving on to the next one, which is the ecosystem. KDE has a very good ecosystem and is arguably better than the GNOME ecosystem. But I think there's always some space in the room for correction, and here's my point. It could be better. I mean, think about it. We have applications like KDE Connect, KDevelop, KWrite, Kate, etc. Imagine applications like these but actually connecting multiple devices together. Imagine copying something from your Android device and then pasting it onto your laptop. Imagine an account which you could actually sync between multiple devices and then share your files from one device to another using that account. KDE Connect already has file sharing service, but you have to have it connected to the same internet network. Imagine applications like Ocular, GwenView, and other media services which could actually sync between your mobile phone and the Linux computer which you have. This could be a game changer. Quite literally. I mean, KDE could literally easily compete with operating systems like Mac OS. Imagine having a gallery which could actually sync with an Android device made by KDE. Implementing these ideas could actually really help the KDE community and the software and Linux community in general, to be honest.
Third point, which is another goal, is accessibility. KDE should make sure that accessibility is very, very important, especially because it's not just a matter of people who need the kind of accessibility that we lack, but even KDE Plasma, for it to be used, or KDE products in general, for them to be used in corporate settings or even from the public organizations, they do have accessibility standards, and it makes sense. They cannot use software that their employees potentially cannot even use. So the fact that KDE Plasma and KDE in general lacks good accessibility is actually hurting it from reaching a lot of people, and we don't want that. Also, obviously, it's very necessary for everyone to be able to enjoy KDE and the free software in general. So accessibility should be much more important than currently is. Sadly, not a lot of developers have deep experience with it, and myself, I never done any accessibility work because I have no clue how to do it. So I think that a team that actually tells people how it works and how to work on it would be super helpful. Then there is translations. I think that the translator team is doing a very good work, but whenever I actually see people commenting on the translation system that we have set up for KDE, it seems like it needs a bit of a change. It seems to be rather old. And I've actually done some translation work for other GitHub projects in the wild, not KDE. And the experience has always been very nice, and I actually only did those translations because the experience was very nice. So I think that it's important, if we want everybody to be able to use KDE software, then we should make sure that it comes in a variety of languages, and to do that, the process of actually suggesting a new translation should be as easy as possible.
And finally, talking about the desktop environment itself, I feel like KDE could implement a lot of smaller, minor details which would just make it look and feel better. Imagine a widget which could open Spotify, mail client and other stuff which you probably use in your day-to-day life. Imagine a better web browser which actually integrates with the theming and the look and feel of KDE desktop environment. And I'm not talking about Falcon because, let's be honest, Falcon web browser is not as feature-rich as other web browsers, and it is not even close to being competent with other web browsers like Opera, Firefox, Brave, etc. Let's be honest, KDE is not gonna overtake Android in the near future. And that's the reason I think KDE should start building something like a launcher for the mobile market so that they can have some value in the mobile market. I mean, have a look at Microsoft. They built a Microsoft launcher which actually includes all their ecosystem like Microsoft To Do, Microsoft Reader, Bing, etc. And I'm sure it has helped both Microsoft and their users. Very similarly, I would really love it if KDE starts to build an Android launcher which could actually implement KDE applications. This could be their first step to attract non-Linux users to use KDE and therefore then turn them over to actual KDE desktop environment. I mean, again, this is my personal opinion. I know that this is almost impossible to happen because I mean, it's really difficult to actually build an Android launcher, so I don't think this is gonna happen, but this is my opinion. Okay, so before moving on, I would like to say subscribe to this channel right away. Make sure you also like this video just to know YouTube that you're enjoying what you're watching. And finally, also subscribe to Niccolo's channel. He makes videos on KDE and he is a major contributor for KDE. With that said, moving on.
Finally, for the fifth one, I think that KDE should give much more importance to promotion, and it does already give a lot of importance to it, and it even hires 2-3, I don't know right now, people to actually work full time maybe not full-time, or at least part-time on promotion. That actually already does a lot. Paul, as an example from the promo group, does a lot of things that nobody would do if it wasn't for him, so that's a lot. I think that with more strength we would be able to do one step more. To make some examples, personally, and this is gonna be super controversial, we'll never get this, but personally, if it was up to me, and it isn't, I think we should do less plasma releases every year, maybe just a couple, because that actually gives a lot more time to make sure that there aren't bugs, and also gives the promo team a lot more time to actually come up with videos, articles and such. And I think we should align the release of Plasma to the release of apps, because having a lot of things to release the same day actually helps a lot. And finally, I think we should align Plasma and apps to the first day of Academy. So you actually invite journalists and YouTubers to Academy the first day, and then you get on stage and actually announce the new version of KDE Plasma with all of the new features. I think that would be awesome. Again, it's not up to me, and there are a lot of flaws to what I propose, but I think moving towards something like that could be interesting. Also, we totally need people to work on 3D renderings of software to make it look very cool in our videos. We've done that in the past, and it has always worked very nicely, but we can't do that for each version with a lot of accuracy, because time is what time is and workforce is what it is. So if you think that what you want from KDE isn't in this list, you can always go ahead in the goal proposal fabricator section and propose something. Be sure to use the goal template, and there's a lot of interesting proposals, so I'm really excited from now onwards to actually see what's going to happen with KDE. And I know that probably you expected something more like, I wish that KDE had I don't know, less bugs or it was faster, but I think that KDE software in general is really well made, and what's stopping it from becoming even better is not really how the software is in its current state. I think it's how KDE as an organization approaches things that should slightly change to improve, but we are already in a very good position, and these 5 are the things that I think KDE could use some of, but personal opinion, obviously.